Today we're going to talk about how the 2014 coup was pulled off in Thailand and what happened. So, around November and December of 2013, Yingluck's party in the elected parliament put up a bill that was it was a tit for tat, quid pro quo, where they would give the fascist party some crumbs in exchange for letting the former elected Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, for letting him off the hook, basically, giving him immunity. And so the fascists, which include the military and the monarchy, they couldn't stand that would happen. And so what they did is they used that as an excuse to start protests in the street. And so for months, there was there was big protests in December and around New Year's of 2014, but then and these protests were well financed. They had state-of-the-art sound systems. They had free food and free water for anybody who showed up. Where that money came from, you might guess. And but around February, after there was a canceled election, the attendance in the protest started to fall off, and they became extremely unpopular. But what happened during the election? This is important because they're talking about doing new elections sometime at the end of this year or next year. And so how the February 2014 election was canceled was that the fascist party, which includes the military and the monarchy, they sent these hired terrorists basically into the street and were walking around shooting off guns, terrorizing people. There was a famous popcorn gunman at the mall in downtown Bangkok when he went out in public and started shooting off his gun, my former boss at the school where I worked, he was an English guy. He said, forget this. Forget this country. This is insane. These people are out of their mind. And so he quit the job, picked up his family, and moved back to England because it was too crazy. So, this terrorism that was sponsored by the military and the monarchy, they went out on the very first day that they were going to start protesting, and they went out and smashed up the windows in public buses, and people's cars, just like randomly, and was unbelievable. They were out with pickaxes and knives, and they killed people in the street. This was completely not reported. I did see a report in the Thai newspaper that said that up to 60 people were killed during this protest leading up to the coup. And the Western media, Jerome Taylor and Jonathan Head and the New York Times and the Economist and the Financial Times, the business press, always consistently say that this is a, quote, bloodless coup. Could not be anything farther from the truth. 60 people died. They're all poor workers who wanted their vote to count in Thailand. Okay, so leading up to this election, the streets were riddled with these armed, violent terrorists that were out there killing people. And so what happened was the election was in February, and in the south part of the country where Phuket is, and that long isthmus that goes down to Malaysia. This is the right wing military political base down there. And so what happened was in those counties, like Nakhon Samarkand and Songkhla, down those provinces, the the terrorists or the military the hired thugs of the military went out to the polling stations and just sat there with guns. And so people knew if they went in to vote that they would be attacked. And there was photos of one guy getting set upon and strangled because he showed up to vote. And so what happened is during that election, the whole rest of the country voted, and they voted overwhelmingly for Yingluck to stay in office. However, these six counties or six provinces in the south part of the country did not report a single vote because they were basically the polling places were functionally shut down by these terrorists, sponsored by the military and the monarchy. And these, so what happened was the election commission, which is appointed by the monarchy, which again will never be told to you by Jonathan Head or Jerome Taylor or the Financial Times or the Economist or any serious Western paper in Thailand won't tell you that the basic fundamental point of the election commission is that they were appointed by the monarchy. So the election commission said, well, look, we've got 6 provinces that didn't vote, so we have to throw out this election. There's 70 some provinces in the country, but 6 of them didn't vote, so this whole election is invalid. And oh, look, here's some people with guns who are pointing guns at our heads, so we might as well let them take control of the government of the country. Yay! Okay, so that's what happened. That's how it happened. And leading up to this point where they declared that the election was invalid, and they went ahead and gave control of the government to the violent, hyper-violent military. So what happened was the thugs who were armed, financed, and supported by the military and the monarchy, they attacked the government house, and Yingluck, who was the elected prime minister, she sent the police out unarmed, basically with shields and batons, to face these thugs who were attacking the government house. And these thugs were armed with guns. They shot a policeman point blank in the chest and killed him. There's a picture, one of the Getty images has a picture of one of these protesters throwing a lit petrol bomb, Molotov cocktail, into the government compound. And so gun ownership is illegal in Thailand. So how these people got guns is that they got them directly from the military. I mean, everybody knows this. Everybody who's there knows this. You can't talk about it because if you talk about it, you'll be lynched or fitted up with defaming the monarchy charges and put in jail for decades. Okay, so I'm just telling you what happened. So that's basically what happened. It's a tragedy, and so I have to say that if people want this next upcoming election in Thailand, if they want to make sure that the dictatorship does not stay in power, what they should do is just not vote. They should just don't go to the polling place, or send people there and block it or close it down, or just blow it up. Hey, so if they do that, then by precedent of the election commission, which was appointed by the monarchy, by precedent, they'll have to throw out the election. However, since the election commission was appointed by the monarchy, of course, they'll apply double standards as they always do. And they would, if say 6 counties in Isan did not vote in the election, and turned out that extreme far-right fascist won the election, the election commission would fall all over themselves to certify the election. That's how it'll work. Okay, so that's some interesting information about the how the coup in 2014 happened. I hope it was helpful and informative for you. Thank you for your consideration and have a nice day.